IShowSpeed training at WWE Performance Center. IShowSpeed is at the WWE Performance Center training with Randy Orton, and I don't know whether to be excited, terrified, or impressed that WWE is leaning this hard into the influencer era. The YouTube star who became a viral sensation for screaming at his computer screen and jumping around like he's been electrocuted is now learning how to wrestle from one of the greatest of all time. And honestly, this might be the most WWE thing that's ever happened. Welcome back to the Wrestling Hidden Insight, and today we're breaking down IShowSpeed's latest adventure into professional wrestling, what it means for WWE's future, why Randy Orton is the perfect person to train him, and whether we're actually going to see Speed in a WWE ring again after his Royal Rumble cameo earlier this year. Let's start with the basics, because if you've been living under a rock or if you're not terminally online like the rest of us, you might be asking, who is IShowSpeed and why should I care? IShowSpeed, real name Darren Watkins Jr., is a YouTube and streaming megastar with millions of followers across multiple platforms. The guy is massive in the influencer world. He's known for his over-the-top reactions, his chaotic energy, his willingness to do absolutely anything for content, and his genuine enthusiasm for everything he tries. Whether he's playing video games, meeting celebrities, or traveling the world, Speed brings an energy that's infectious even if it's occasionally exhausting to watch. And here's the key thing. Speed is a legitimate wrestling fan. This isn't some random influencer who WWE is paying to show up and pretend to care about wrestling for clout. Speed genuinely loves WWE. He's been vocal about his fandom for years. He's talked about his favorite wrestlers. He's posted about watching shows. And when WWE gave him the opportunity to appear at the Royal Rumble earlier this year, he didn't just phone it in. He showed up, he got involved in the action, he took a bump, and he made it clear that being part of WWE, even for one night, was a dream come true for him. That authenticity matters. That's the difference between a celebrity appearance that feels forced and one that feels genuine. So when Fightful Select reported that Speed has been at the WWE Performance Center this week, it wasn't completely out of left field. The guy has history with WWE. He has credibility as a fan. And he's clearly interested in exploring whether he could actually do this wrestling thing for real. According to reports and Speed's own social media posts, he's been filming for his YouTube series called Speed Goes Pro, which is basically a show where Speed trains with elite athletes in different sports to see if he has what it takes to compete at that level. The first episode featured NFL legend Tom Brady. The second episode featured Olympic gymnast Suni Lee. And the third episode, which is expected to drop in about 2 weeks based on the release schedule, features Randy Orton teaching Speed how to be a WWE superstar. Let me pause right here and just appreciate the absurdity and brilliance of pairing IShowSpeed with Randy Orton. Because on paper these two could not be more different. Speed is chaos incarnate, a hurricane of energy and noise and unpredictability. Randy Orton is the Viper, the legend killer, the man who moves with calculated precision and strikes when you least expect it. Speed is all ID, pure unfiltered emotion. Orton is all control, every move deliberate and measured. They're opposites in almost every way. And that's exactly why this pairing is genius. Because if anyone can teach Speed how to harness his energy and channel it into something that works in a wrestling ring, it's Randy Orton. Randy has been doing this for over 2 decades. He's one of the greatest in-ring performers in WWE history. He's a third-generation wrestler who grew up in this business and understands every nuance of it. He knows how to work a crowd. He knows how to tell a story. He knows how to make everything look effortless even when it's incredibly difficult. And he's also someone who's been around long enough that he's not going to be starstruck or intimidated by Speed's massive online following. Randy is going to treat this like any other training session, which means Speed is going to get real feedback, real instruction, and probably a real understanding of just how hard professional wrestling actually is. And let's talk about that for a second. Professional wrestling looks easy when you're watching it on TV. The best wrestlers make it look so smooth, so natural, so simple that people think, oh, I could do that. But then you step into a ring and you realize very quickly that nothing about wrestling is easy. Learning how to take a bump without getting hurt requires technique and repetition. Learning how to work with a partner and make everything look realistic while keeping each other safe requires trust and communication. Learning how to pace a match, tell a story, read a crowd, and hit your spots at the right time requires years of experience. Wrestling is a craft. It's an art form. And it's one of the most physically demanding performances you can do. IShowSpeed is about to get a crash course in all of that with Randy Orton as his teacher. And I cannot wait to see how that goes. Because Speed has athleticism. The guy is in good shape. He's got energy for days. He's got charisma that translates on camera. But does he have the discipline to slow down and learn the fundamentals? Does he have the patience to do the same drill over and over until he gets it right? Does he have the pain tolerance to keep going after his body starts screaming at him to stop? Those are the questions that Speed Goes Pro is going to answer. And those are the questions that will determine whether Speed's appearance at the Royal Rumble was a one-time novelty or the beginning of something more substantial. Now let's talk about WWE's perspective on all of this. Because WWE inviting Speed to the Performance Center isn't just a favor to a fan. It's not just content for Speed's YouTube channel. It's a strategic business decision that benefits WWE in multiple ways. First, exposure. Speed's YouTube channel has tens of millions of subscribers. His social media reach is staggering. When he posts content, millions of people see it. And when that content is about WWE, millions of people who might not regularly watch wrestling are suddenly being exposed to the WWE brand. The Tom Brady episode of Speed Goes Pro has already racked up over 5.7 million views in 2 weeks. The Randy Orton episode is going to do similar if not better numbers. That's millions of eyeballs on WWE content. That's millions of potential new fans who might check out Raw or SmackDown because they saw Speed training with Randy Orton and thought that looked cool. Second, relevance. WWE has always been about staying culturally relevant. They want to be part of the conversation. They want to be cool. They want to appeal to younger audiences who might not be watching traditional television but are definitely watching YouTube and following influencers. Partnering with someone like IShowSpeed, who is massively popular with Gen Z and younger millennials, helps WWE stay in that conversation. It shows that WWE is willing to embrace new media and work with creators who have influence in spaces that WWE might not otherwise reach. That's smart business. That's understanding where the culture is going and positioning yourself to be part of it.